a lot to do, I still have to put away the chairs. But anyway, I've got all the chores. Or anyway, it's up to me to do them all. I still have to put my clothes today. All in all, reality is cats, like an alley cat at your park. But now I gotta do your part. I got a day job and a night job and an interview at 5. You've gotten rid of both boyfriends and you've given me the green light. I got a day job and a night job and an afternoon away. You just waved a hand and we're engaged, you say. I've been up since 4 a.m. and finishing this at midnight. After this thing I should sell it and call it quits when the getting's good. I took a night at your new club today to take a break away from the rats. But now I got your locker stool and your car keys in my cart. I pick up the pieces left on the floor while you walk away like you don't care no more. I'm tired of cleaning every mess you make, slowly losing patience with every break. Every promise broken never leads to change. I'm the one who's always left rearranged. Your lack of effort shows clear as the day. I'll be sweeping you out when I find my way. Hey, hey, I'm the cleanup crew, fixing your mess just like it's new. Hey, hey, won't be here long, cleaning house, I'm moving on. Watching you take credit for the work I do, every single task I pull double through. Your empty words no longer faze me. Soon enough your history, just wait and see. Where's the spark, the dedication gone? I'm carrying weight, dragging us along. No more excuses, your time is past. This sweeps your fate, I'll make it last. Hey, hey, I'm the cleanup crew, fixing your mess just like it's new. Hey, hey, won't be here long, cleaning house, I'm moving on.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. How is everyone doing? It is another beautiful Sunday afternoon, especially down here in South Florida. It is like 80, 90, it has to be like 90, 95 degrees outside today in April. Today is Sunday, April 27th, 2025. We are moving along through the year. I am Tech Coach Ralph. We are engineered to win. How is everyone doing today? Hopefully you guys are having phenomenally amazing days. Hopefully your weekend is going amazing. My weekend is going great. However, it has been a little bit consumed by this project because I'm trying to figure it out. I have made such amazing progress ever since we got the Nginx to start up on Thursday night. I've made so much progress. I wanted to go live, but it just didn't have the ability to the past couple of days, but I've been working on it on my own and we are getting so far. I am going to share that with you. This came about like as an emergency type project I had to get figured out. And it's been amazing. I'm going to go through AWS, the logs, what I did and where I'm at now. And we're going to be troubleshooting today to try to finish this up. I think today is going to be the last day that we stream on it. But if I am able to get it to work and running, I will do a recap on what I actually did to get it up and running. All that good stuff, right? But that is the plan for today. But it's been really, really good. I have learned a lot. All right. With that being said, we are going to jump into our agenda, get into the chat, and then get into our very first working segment. Let me get our banner up on the screen for today. Boom. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Let's jump into our agenda real quick. So first and foremost, first and foremost, I have to say a big thank you to all of the subscribers to the channel, those who are brand new to the channel, and those who have been rocking with me for a very long time. Thank you so much for allowing me to add value into your life. Hopefully, whether it's the candid conversations, whether it's the software explorations, whether it's the bug bite, whether it's the live streams talking about large language models in the morning, whether it's the ethical hacking on Thursday nights, or maybe it is the Sunday shows we're working on DevOps, whatever it is that has you tuning in for whichever show you tune in to, thank you so much for allowing me to add value into your life. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Shout out to all of the Patreon members, my tech barbarians, my tech prodigy members, and my technical explorers who add so much value, who are always working so hard. You guys are the best.
We the best.
And thank you and shout out to my tech mercenaries. Those are the YouTube members that allow me to be able to stream on this channel just about every single day. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right, upcoming shows. We have tomorrow. We're going to be having our large language model in the morning, coffee and kata. I'm going to continue. I know it's supposed to be the last day on day one, but it was a pretty cool challenge to see if we can add a third bot to the conversation. So I'm going to try to add Gemini to the conversation. MB asked me to if I could finish that part. So I'm going to finish that, and then hopefully on Wednesday we get to day 2. But tomorrow morning, large language models, and then tomorrow candid conversations at noon Eastern time. I'm going to be premiering that. And lastly, we have Tuesday night. We're going to be doing our tech Q&A. If you have any questions, if you want to contribute to the topic, if you want to call in, all of that is possible. Tuesday night tech Q&A. All right. With that being said, I think we are just about ready to get into the show. However, do me a big favor. If you have not done so already, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content. Also, techcoachrap.dev. I do have a sprint review at 6 p.m. Eastern time with my tech barbarians tonight. So if you want to be able to tune into the Scrum Night, you're gonna have to join techcoachrap.dev. I'm creating content for that platform, for the TechCoach Patreon, where I'm going to be talking about interview preparation, how to act and how to answer questions during the interview, how to follow up after the interview, the question that you should ask in return when they ask you, do you have any questions? Make it some good questions, good 3 to 4 questions, make them really good, make them very thoughtful. I'm going to be creating videos about that as well, and much more. Also have content in there on how to organize your calendar for maximum efficiency. And you can join the Team TechCoach Discord for the different activities that we do in there by joining techcoachrap.dev. All right. That is everything that I had to say. Before we get into our working segment, let's go ahead and check out the chat to see who we have in the building. First and foremost, we have, all right, this was supposed to be fixed. This was supposed to be fixed. What's going on? Or maybe it is fixed. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I had made it bigger last time. Okay, I will take that one. I will take that on myself. All right, so we have Roxy with the clock. Roxy on the clocks. And Roxy says, whoa, good evening. Good afternoon, Roxy. How are you doing today? Hopefully you are doing phenomenal. And says, hey, TCR. Hey, Roxy, how are you? We are the cleanup crew. I'm telling you, that is one of my favorite songs on the Frenemies album, available on all major streaming platforms. You definitely want to check it out. But with that being said, we are going to get to it. DevOps, oh my goodness, I've been having, although it's been a really tough project to figure it out, it's been a lot of hard work. But you know what they say? You know what they say? Hard work is good work. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. So, and we have Wave Nerd in the building. What's up, Wave Nerd? How are you doing? So happy, as always, to have you here. I'm telling you, I am clearing so much time off my calendar, or I'm buying back a lot of my time. I am buying back a lot of my time, cutting out certain activities, certain things that I used to do, right? I'm cutting them out so that I can be a little bit more open, a little bit more free to work on projects, and maybe as I work on those projects, maybe stream them. I don't know. I'm trying to open up some time slots. All right. Anyways, with that being said, let's jump into our very first working segment of the day. 3 working segments. If we finish early, we finish early, but I am not going to do a 4th one because I have been working all weekend. In addition to creating the content for this upcoming week, I have been working all weekend on this right here, and I'm tired. I'm tired of it, but I'm loving it at the same time. It's weird, but I'm gonna figure it out at some point. All right. With that being said, let's jump into our very first working segment. Let me get this banner off the screen. All right, so DevOps Docker Compose to AWS, first 20-minute working segment.
It's time to do.
All right, let's do it. So where are we now? So, okay, what have we done so far, right? This came about a project, a software called Indico Events. I was looking at it for managing conferences, events, and stuff like that, where it's open source software, and you can just install it with Docker Compose. So I have it running locally on my machine. I installed it on an Amazon AWS EC2 instance. However, in order to make it a little bit more maintainable and manageable, the goal was to get it installed on AWS, Amazon Web Services, ECS, Elastic Container Services, right? Well, little did we know that was going to be a major task, figuring out how to migrate or convert a Docker Compose file to a ECS task, right? So we were working on it the first time we created it. Nothing's happening. Oh my goodness, it was an absolute mess. However, towards the end of last stream on Thursday, we were able to actually get something to show up we got the Nginx server started, and it showed up. We're like, okay, we were making progress. Now, in the meantime, what I've been working, and I'm going to share the screen so you can see what I've been working on as well. But what I've been working on was migrating the definition of what's in the Docker Compose to the ECS task, right? So here's what we're going to do. I am going to share this screen right here. And of course, that is the wrong screen. Hold on, let me make sure. Why is that the wrong screen? Let's go to, I don't know why that's the wrong screen. Something weird is happening. Oops. Let's go to, let's do this. Let me figure out what's going on here with my screens. These things never stay in the right places nowadays, you know? You can only see so much, right? Let's go there. There you go. All right, so let's go here. And move that back up here. All right, so this is our Docker Compose file. Well, wrong one. Let me get the right one. This is our Docker Compose file. I had to make some modifications to it. I had to do a lot of changes to get it to work in the ECS environment, right? But basically, getting this whole file, right? This is pretty much just defining how Docker's supposed to start up the application, and I had to get this migrated to ECS. So if we look at over here, this one works. So here we have our, what do you call this? We have our, we're inside AWS. We're looking at the the task definition for Elastic Container Service, and this is the one that we're working on, Nginx. Probably end up renaming it at some point. So as you can see, I have 30 revisions of trying to tinker with it to get it to work, right? Because it's like you do something, you make a little change, you try it. So that's the way that I do it. I make a change, try it, make a change, try it, make a change, try it, see what we get, right? So basically, we have all of these containers that are defined. And so we have our, I'll do it like this. Let me do it like this. I'm going to move it to the other screen so I can compare it with the, let me duplicate this. And I'm going to take that over here. So this way, by doing it this way, you will be able to see a one-to-one comparison. So if we're looking at this here, right, we have containers, which would be the services inside of our Docker Compose file. So we have the Indigo Web. I'm using just an image that is pulling from Docker Hub, that get Indigo. We have Indigo Celery, which I'm having issues with Indigo Celery, but Indigo Celery just uses whatever image that Indigo Web is using, which is get Indigo. We have Indigo Celery Beat, which is currently giving me some issues as well, but Indigo Celery Beat. We have Indigo Redis right here. Indigo Postgres for our database, And then we have Indigo Nginx, using the image for Nginx right here, right? On AWS Fargate, there is no configuration of the, we're not configuring the networks, so it automatically does all the networking stuff on its own. We had to configure our volumes. Let me see, is there anything here? No. So we had to configure our volumes. We started doing that last time, and that is just about everything. Also, another thing that I had to do, right? Let me go back to the other screen. If I go into creating a revision for this task, in order to, and this is something that I had no idea how to do, I learned it over the past couple of days. I had to figure out how to get a particular file inside of our Docker container. So I had to use what they call the EFS, Elastic File System. And if we go down to volume, let's see if I can show you. So these are all like the setup for our containers, but over here for the volumes. So I create all these volumes, right? Indigo logs, bind mounts, EFS. Show me EFS. You know what? Maybe the Indigo log should be EFS. Anyhow, we had the Indigo login config. So anyways, we had like, so this is where we're defining how we're mapping all of our how we're mapping. So this is saying like for the Indigo login config, use EFS. I believe for the Indigo, let me see, Indigo logging. So Indigo config, EFS, Indigo, because I think part of my issues is the whole logging part as well. Let's see. Indigo logging config. I gotta double check that. But anyways, so I had to do all of this in order to get them to start communicating. And at the end of the, I'll circle back to that, but I'll show you where we're at now. But in order to get the EFS working, I had to upload files to S3. On Wednesday's episode of Software Explorations Concept Overviews, I'm going to show you the most basic thing you can, like one of the most basic things you can do in the cloud, uploading a file to S3 storage. Very, very important, something that everybody should know, especially if you're interested in DevOps, interested in the cloud. But I had to upload a file to S3, and then I had to give it access. Then I had to do this thing called data sync to transfer the file from S3 to the file system. It was a lot. All I'm gonna say, it was a lot, and it was a lot of research trying to figure this thing out. All right, but all that to say that if we look at where we're at now, if I go over here and I go to the cluster, I go to the service, and we can go to, first we can go to the tasks. We can see that if I click on the current running task, we see that we have just about all of our tasks running, when last time we could barely get one task running. We have just about all of our tasks running except for the celery beat. And I'll show you this, right? We have our IP address. If I go to this IP address with port 8080, because last time we did port 8080, we saw the Nginx up. Now we're gonna get an internal server error, which it does suck because it's not technically working, but it is a lot further than we got last time, because last time we could not get anything to start. With that being said, if I go back over to here and I take a look at our logs, we have tons and tons of logs on logs on logs. So if I show you, we have Postgres, that's our database, that's up and running, Nginx, oops, Redis. Where's Nginx? Oh, come on. Nginx, that's up and running. And you can see the request that we just made to the browser, it was logged. It's just that our application is not working right now. So that's why we're not seeing anything, but Nginx is working because it is tracking this information. So if I do it again, right? So right now this is at 1521. It is 1522. If I refresh again, and I go back to here and I say, and there goes the one that we just did. We just hit it right now, 1522, and it was able to log it, but it's not working. So where we're at now is a couple of things. When I go, so Indigo Celery, it is not connecting to the database for some weird reason. So I was in the process of troubleshooting that before coming onto the show. Other things, if I look at Indigo Web, it says no Python application found. So I'm troubleshooting that too. Check your startup logs. I don't even know if I have startup logs, to be honest with you, but looking into that. But what I do know is when I go to the second page, I'm able to see a bunch of errors that when I do it locally, which I can show it to you locally. When I go to it locally, I don't see those errors. So I'm not entirely sure what's happening. I'm able to trace it back to preparing the database, create the extension. But once it gets here, it starts to diverge. And then it comes, so I have a feeling that it has something to do with here. But I'm not entirely sure. But something I did find is I can connect to the container to troubleshoot. So I'm going to be doing that as well. Let me see, anything else to say? So it gets all the way over here, and I'm getting a bunch of errors that I don't get when I'm running it locally, right? A bunch of celery errors as well. So I have a feeling that it's related to celery not being able to connect to the database, because when I do go to celery, it's saying that so this command means that it is not able, or this error means that it's not able to connect to the database. I'm thinking that there's somewhere that is defined what's the URL for the database and it can't find it. That's my guesstimate. So I'm still looking into it, trying to figure out. So The documentation for this software is not the best, I must say, but I think it'll be a major, major accomplishment if we can get this loaded up and working. So that's the plan for today. That is what I am working on. Yeah, that's basically it. All right, let me get some water. And we are good to go. So that was our recap. And now we can jump into the rest of the show. All right. I think the first thing that I want to do is try to connect to the containers, run the scripts to see what errors that I'm getting to try to troubleshoot. Because if we go over to here and
What's this? Oh, it's only money.
what? We got David in the building. Shout out to David. I saw David's Trello board yesterday. Trello boards, I must say, and they are absolutely fascinating. And I found out that David is studying to be in DevOps, and I was like, you know what, David, you got to stop by the show because the things that I'm doing here, they are in your future, and you want to start getting accustomed with them today. Let me read that super chat real quick because David, I am impressed by David. David, where? I thought it was fixed. I don't know. David says, "What's up, Coach? Just wanted to stop by and support the platform. Thank you so much, David. You are truly appreciated here. And like I said, stop by, like especially on Sundays, because it is right up your alley for the things that you're learning. So thank you so much for stopping by.
I appreciate you.
And I'm very impressed by all your hard work and everything like that. So shout out to you, David. All right, so like I was saying, this is what we're gonna do. I am going to pull up this right here, and let me see, which one am I gonna pull up? Actually, I'm gonna pull up in here. So I have this running through Docker Compose, and I don't have I'm not getting the errors locally that I'm getting in the cloud, right? So I'm trying to do a one-to-one comparison. Now, so with that being said, what I am going to do, I looked up, and this is all about researching, trying things out, and what I am going to do is I searched for, am I able to connect to a ECS container using Fargate, right? And to my surprise, I was like, oh yeah, you can. So let me pull that up real quick. All right, so if we go here to my trusty Stack Overflow, it had how are we able to do it? AWS ECS. So we have to execute this command in order to enable execute command, and then we have to connect to the Fargate task, right? So once I can, and this is similar to how you would do it with Docker Compose, which I can actually show you that as well. But and I'll show you how I troubleshoot in two different instances, right? So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to do it this way. All right, let's do these two terminals. All right, let's go here. All right, so let's go to here, right? And I have these two terminals right here. And for this one, I am going to connect to the Celery, right? So I already have it up and running. So if I do Docker PS, you see that we have all of the containers running for this application, but the one that I'm having issues with right now, or one of them I'm having issues with right now inside of Amazon is the celery one, right? So where's the name? Let me see the name. Okay, so it's I'm having issues with this indigo celery one, right? So I'm just gonna do docker exec dash it and then the name of the container, and I'm gonna do /bin bash, right? So now I am inside the container. If I do, and I just want to do the command that's failing on ECS. So when I do this, I get a row count. It's able to connect to the SQL server, no issue, right? So here we are going to do, in this one, we're going to do what they have outlined in the Stack Overflow. And I'm going to say AWS ECS update dash service, and the cluster is, what is the cluster?
Lunch break, lunch break.
And let's finish this real quick. Indigo cluster and the dash task is the task ID. So if we look for the task ID over here, let's go for the task definition, and we're going to do indigo events and the task ID. I think the task ID is inside. Is it in the running service? Let me see. Indigo cluster here, tasks. This must be the task ID. All right, let's go with this task ID. Hopefully it's that. And then we need the container name, which is going to be, let's do the indigo celery. Actually, no, shoot, I was looking at the wrong line. Hold on, oh God, let me start this over. Control C, so we need AWS ECS update dash service, dash cluster is indigo cluster, dash service is going to be, the service is going to be this service right here. And then we need enable execute command. All right, so let's go back over here. Just finish that up real quick. Enable execute command. Let's run that. And okay. I guess that's everything for that. So we have all these details. All right. So let's do this. Let's go to break. When we come back from break, we're going to get into connecting to the Fargate task and trying to run these commands to see what happens. All right. But for now, we are at break. I'm going to check the chat and say good afternoon to everybody. And then we will get to our first break time topic. And then we're going to get back to work. All right. So first and foremost, we have Junior in the building. Says, what's up? What's up? What's up, family? Shout out to you, Junior. How are you doing today? Hopefully everything is going phenomenal with you. Shout out to Junior. Let's see. Shout out to Wave Nerd as usual. Roxy, and I'm going to read again one more time during break. Shout out to David. Such an impressive person. Like, the organization skills, the technical skills, amazing. But shout out to David. Says, what's up, coach? Just wanted to stop by and support the platform. Thank you so much, David. And if if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out, tag me. And I am very, very looking forward to where you are headed. All right. Shout out to David. All right. This first break time discussion for today. Mission. Figure it out. All right. So I'm gonna put up 5 minutes on the timer. So this is in reference to basically what we're doing today, right? And in reference to what we're doing today, it's also in reference to anything that you're doing. I remember there was a message from I think it was Junior who said it on the last stream after we got the Nginx running, and he said like the perseverance, and I was like, I just don't know any other way. Like, for me, I don't. If I don't figure this out, I will be haunted for the rest of my life. I'm serious. Like, but that's my mission. I'm like, all right, I went down this rabbit hole, and I gotta see it through. I gotta see it through, because I've gotten like the amount of progress that we've made over the past few days. It's like once you get that one little spark, that one domino effect, that one butterfly effect, and now I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense, and we are so close, because I can actually get the logs running and I can see what's not working now. Do I know why? I don't know, but that does trigger me to say, okay, well, if I'm able to do this, like I'm able to do it locally, my mindset is thinking, how can I do in the cloud what I'm able to do locally, so that the same information that's available to me locally, I can see it there, and then I can try to troubleshoot that way. So what we're on the verge of doing now is running a command that I did locally and that worked, and then running it on the cloud to see why it's not working on the cloud, try to navigate through the server to see, okay, why is this not working? What gives? All right. So, but the bigger picture, your mission for whatever it is that you want to do, figure it out. I know that we have resources and there's people that we can reach out to and say, okay, how can I do this? How can I do that? Great. But if you want something to be meaningful to you, figure it out. Try different things, invest in yourself, because like we were talking about the other day, right? There are many people, when you bring to them your thoughts, your ideas, your like things you want to try, and then the very, very first thing that they hit you with is negativity, right? Negativity. But as soon as whatever it is that you're doing starts to take off, then they'll be like, then the two things might happen. There's two things that might happen, right? The first thing that might happen is they might say, oh, that's so cool, and they want to join in and stuff like that. Or they will never talk about it ever, because they were the negative Nancys or the doubting Debbies, right? Who said that they told you, don't even bother, don't even waste your time trying, because no one, like, it'll always fail, right? And for me, I am the type of person who says, why not give it a try? At this point, what difference does it make? What do you got to lose? What the hell do you have to lose? So give it a try. And then once you get started, you're going to find yourself in different rabbit holes trying to figure things out. Like this is the rabbit hole that I found myself in over the past few days, past week, past few streams. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to figure it out, because number one, I love this DevOps stuff. I love this infrastructure stuff. And you don't know what other doors it will open for you in the future. So by me playing around with this, by me working on Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, the Poopy Pants app, where we tried to containerize it, but eventually moved on. But we did use ECS and try to get these containers running. Now at work, we're like, oh, we want to run this. We want to run a particular application on Fargate, and being that being as the QA engineer who doesn't really have anything to do with AWS Fargate, I am like, oh, I've used Fargate before, and I can help set up some infrastructure. I can set up the cluster. I can set up the service. I can try to get the task, and we're doing this in a sandbox environment. So I can try to get it running there so that we can streamline the process, and I can somewhat be a subject matter expert in here. But now also doing this project as well.
On, back to work, chop chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work, back to work, back to work.
Doing this project as well, I have learned so much, right? So, my message to you is whatever it is that you have in your mind to do, number one, do it. Number two, don't ever be discouraged. Discouragement is going to be your kryptonite. You get discouraged because, oh, you tried 1,000 times, 1,000 variations. You spent some money, right? Try to keep your costs low. That's what I tell everybody. That's my number one rule for everybody. But try it out, and you get stuck. Something fails. It's okay. It's okay because you are using your mind. You're being creative. You are trying something that other people are not willing to try. And what other people told you that there's no chance in hell. They think that they are Vince McMahon walking out to the song "No Chance in Hell." Nope. I say the opportunities are endless. So get to it. Give it a try. Put something out there. Just put something out there. Get feedback. I'm going to say something that you're not going to believe. I would rather get feedback from billions of people instead of getting it from a close friend, family member. Because family members, they have a hard time being objective. The world, though, putting it out in the world, the world is going to tell you its honest truth, whether it's trash, whether it's viable. And then you go back to the drawing table, you improve it, you enhance it, add value. That's the message. Figure it out. Figure out how to add value into the world, and that is going to lead you to endless opportunities. All right. With that being said, we are going to wrap that break up, and we are going to get back to work. Let's get it. Let's get back to work. Let's get back to work.
Hey.
All right.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right. So if we continue looking at over here, we have, so we need to do this command, AWS ECS execute command, and then the cluster, the task ID, the container interactive, and then the command bin bash or bin bash or bin sh. One of these. Anyways, we will see what happens after that. All right. So I'm going to go over to this screen, and I'm just going to do that command. So AWS ECS execute. Is that it? Let me see something. Execute command -- cluster indigo cluster, and then we are going to do -- task ID. Let me get that. I think that's the ID. And then we are going to say -- container. And we're going to go with the container name of indigo celery beet. And then dash dash interactive dash dash command, and we will go bin. So if this works, that should give me the ability to log into this container and execute some commands. Session plugin manager not found. What are you talking about?
How dare you?
Let's see. Please refer to session manager documentation here. Let's take a look at that real quick. Always a rabbit hole. Session manager plugin. Not automatically added to the command line path. Okay. Okay. AWS ECS execute command. Let me try it one more time. And then, so cluster, let me put the region as well. Region, US East 1. We got the cluster, the task ID, the container command, bin bash. All right, so we need this. All right, so we need this session plugin. Let's go here. When connecting to Fargate. All right, so the error when connecting to Fargate typically means the necessary session manager plugin is not installed or accessible on your local machine. This plugin is required by, all right, so, okay, so we need to do AWS SSM start session. All right, let's try that, I guess. Clear this out. Let's go here. We got to do AWS SSM start session -- region US East 1. Target our task ID. Let me get that. Target task ID. An invalid parameter when calling invalid instance ID. Okay. Okay. We're getting invalid parameters. Let's see. Verify the IAM role attached to your Fargate task has necessary permissions to use Session Manager. let's see, install the session manager plugin, Mac OS. Okay, so let's do this. Mac with Apple Silicon. Let's copy this code and let's go back over here. Do that. Okay, so run the install command. What? Hold on. Okay, so we're installing now. Okay, let's go back over here. I'm telling you, we go down so many different rabbit holes, right? To install the session manager using the bundled installer. Okay. Looks like we're good. All right, so now let's go back over here. So it's installed. Let's go to a couple. Let's go back to this one. Well, we're getting closer. Session Manager plugin was installed successfully using the AWS CLI. An error occurred, invalid parameter when calling execute command. The execute command failed because the execute command was not enabled when the task was run, or the execute command isn't running. So let's go clear that. Let's go and enable it again. Okay. I don't know what they want me to do with this. So if we go again. An error. The execute command operation. Run a new task with it enabled. All right, so, that means we are going to search this one out. Let's copy that. Go over here. Okay, so. Oh. Okay. So. Let's do. So basically we need to run that command with a forced new deployment. So let's go back over here. Let's clear this out. Enable command. And we're going to add the flag. I can just open that up. And we're going to say force new deployment. So by doing that, I don't know what they want me to do with this. Don't know what they want me to do with this. So, all right. So let's see if the new deployment was actually forced, right? Because I passed the information to. If we go here and we go to our service, I think it was. Let's see. We click on this. Tasks. Okay, yeah, so it is forcing a new deployment. So we will wait for that to be up and running. And then we shall see. Then we should be able to log into the actual container and see why has it forsaken us, all right? So that's the plan. Let's wait a little bit. But yeah, a lot more progress. As you can see, we have a bunch of containers running. And oh, ECS exec is turned on, so that's probably what was enabled. Because if we look at the task, if we go open this one, ECS exec is turned off in this instance. So I wonder if we were to do, just go here, and we were to say update service. Is there a checkbox for exec command to be turned on? I don't know where turning that on happens in the over here, but no biggie. Let's go over here to running tasks, pending. All right, so we have everything running. We want to get to, so this is the new task over here, and we're going to want to get to this indigo celery, right? So let's go back over here. Let's clear this out. Let's go to update this with the right task. And let's do this indigo celery. An error occurred. The execute command failed due to an internal error. Okay, very, very, very informative. Oh my goodness. All right. Target. So let me try with. Let's try with Indigo Web. Try the different one. Well, let's copy this one. Well, before I do that, let's go over here. Go to the logs. So the Indigo Celery, same errors from just now. And this also has the same errors as well. So I'm going to copy this. Okay, so troubleshoot error, target not connected exception when calling exec command. The Amazon ECS task does not have the required permissions to run the exec command. Database identity access management role that you're using does not have, running the command does not have the required permissions. Okay, simple enough. Let me see. Let's copy this. Let's go to let's see, ECS task role. So if we go to that makes sense. Let's go to edit, add permissions, attach policies. Can I do it by JSON? me see. Can I add permissions via JSON? No. Create inline policy. JSON. Okay. And okay. Next. Connect via command line. Create. Ooh. Connect SSM. All right, let's do that. Okay. Now, let's see if that changes anything. Not yet. What else did they say to do? Create the following IAM policy. Attach the policy to the ECS task row. There might be delays in making these changes at the task level. Therefore, wait some time after making. Then run the execute command. The IAM user row that runs the execute command must have the following permissions. I think that would be for me. I think this would be me. And they said ECS execute command. Permission. ECS execute. ECS. Let's see.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
Okay. What about if we just copy this and we go over to where's the JSON? Create inline policy. ECS. Oh, choose a service, ECS. Not there? Container service. Execute command. I'll just say all for now. ECS execute command. All right. Let's wrap up this segment with, see if we can connect to that. I'm gonna. What? Do you see that? We are in it to win it. Let's go. Let's get it. That is awesome. So we're in there. When we come back to break, we will navigate here to see what's going on and figure it out from there, right? But let's go to break. This, I'm telling you, I absolutely love doing this stuff. So exciting, right? Let me take a swig of water and then we will continue on with our second break time topic. I don't see anything in the chat for now, so we can continue on. Let's see. All right, so let me get some water. So, second break time topic. Google forcing return to office? Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
All right, so let's jump into this article to see what the hell is going on with Google. So this article is brought to us by CNBC. It says Google forcing some remote workers to come back 3 days a week or lose their jobs.
Bruh.
All right, so the key points of this article, in case we don't finish the whole thing, I'm going to put up 5 minutes and give some commentary in the middle. All right, so key points in case we don't finish the whole article, right? Several units within Google have notified remote workers that their jobs will be in jeopardy if they don't show up at the office 3 days a week. Not 1, not 2, but 3. 3 days per week. The company has been downsizing various teams in effort to streamline operations and prioritize spending on artificial intelligence and infrastructure. Interestingly enough, because tomorrow's kind of conversation is going to be talking about the overhiring that took place over the past few years, especially during the pandemic, rising costs for companies via inflation and property expenses and stuff like that, interest rates that cause them to have to make adjustments and what shareholders want. Says the company said in-person collaboration is an important part of how we innovate and solve complex problems. All right. And there goes the CEO of Google. It says 5 years removed from the onset of the COVID pandemic, Google is demanding that some remote employees return to office if they want to keep their jobs and avoid being part of the broader cost cuts at the company. Several units within Google have told remote staffers that their role may be at risk if they don't start showing up at the closest office for a hybrid work schedule, according to internal documents viewed by CNBC. Are Google employees leaking to Google? To CNBC. Wait. Are Google employees leaking to CNBC? Some of those employees were previously approved for remote work. Look, I'll be frank with you, right? And you can be Susan, but I'll be frank. Just because you were approved to do something at one time does not mean that it can't change in the future. You work at the pleasure of the company, and if they no longer find pleasure in you, if they say that, hey, we want you to come back to the office, and you say no, then they say sayonara, then it is what it is. All right? It says, as the pandemic slips further into the rearview mirror, companies are tightening their restrictions on remote work, forcing some staffers who moved to distant locations to reconsider their priorities if they want to maintain their employment.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I remember during the pandemic, so many people, they said, you know what? The houses are so cheap. In the middle of nowhere. I'm telling you, they'll say, you know what? I am going to move to this rural place where thank God for Starlink now, right? But they would be struggle working with their weak internet connection. And they said, you know, I'm just gonna be very, very in this remote place. And then companies were like, hey, we want, like, you gotta come back to the office. But you guys approved me to move to this random location. Okay, yeah, now we unapprove you. And you gotta show up. And it's like, well, I have like a 8% interest rate on this property in the middle of nowhere. Like my interest rate costs more than the actual house costs. What am I supposed to do in the middle of nowhere with this house, right? On this farm, we have like 30 acres of land. What am I supposed to do? And the company's like, I don't know what to tell you. You just got to show up. It says, all right. So it says, let's see. The change in tone is particularly acute in the tech industry, which jumped so aggressively into flexible work arrangements in 2020 that San Francisco commercial real estate market is still struggling to recover.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Google began offering some U.S. full-time employees voluntary buyouts at the beginning of 2025, and some remote staffers were told that that would be their only option if they didn't return to the nearest office at least 3 days a week. So that means that for 2 days, so let's say you said Monday and Friday, you want to live on your farm that is in the middle of nowhere. You could do Friday.
Get a move on. Back to work. Chop, chop. Let's go. Come on. Get a move on. Back to work. Back to work. Back to work.
You can do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, in the middle of nowhere. But on Tuesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you're going to have to find your way to maybe get an Airbnb. I don't know, but you're going to have to find your way to staying close to the office, right? I'm telling you. So the latest threats land at a time when Google and many of its tech peers are looking to slash costs while simultaneously pouring money into artificial intelligence, which requires hefty expenditures on infrastructure and technical talent. So the money is shifting. Interesting. They're like, we're not going to be paying extra. Like we have to cut costs. So get your butt back to the office because we need to invest in more infrastructure, in data centers and stuff like that, right? Since conducting widespread layoffs in early 2023, Google has undertaken targeted cuts across various teams, emphasizing the importance of increased AI investments. As of the end of last year, Google is about 183,000 employees down from Google had about as of the end of last year, Google had about 183,000 employees, down from 190,000 2 years earlier. Wait, so all right, hold up. You're telling me from 2 years, Google only fired 7,000 employees? Is that it? I mean, ratio to ratio, that's actually pretty decent, you know? That's like less than a 1% reduction in, wait, no, 1% would be 1.9. That's less than a 10% reduction in workforce. If my numbers are correct. Yeah. I don't know, that seems pretty good. All right. All right, so it says Google co-founder Sergey Brin told AI workers in February that they should be in the office every weekday, within 60 hours a week being the sweet spot of productivity. Oh, that's 60 hours. According to a memo viewed by CNBC, Brin said the company has to turbocharge efforts to keep up with AI competition, which has accelerated immensely. And I'll tell you this, right? It's not uncommon if you are, number one, if you're getting a Google salary, working in AI, software engineer, to be working 60 hours a week, because at the end of the day, you have to beat out your competition. For me, I see work as a sport, right? I see work as a sport. There's competition within the company. There's competition with the other companies, what are they doing and how are we going to be better than them? Because we want their customers. We want their customers. We want them to come over to us. All right. All right. So it says, Courtney, I'm guessing Courtney Mancini, a Google spokesperson, said the decisions around remote worker return demands are based on individual teams and not a company-wide policy. As we've said before, in-person collaboration is an important part of how we innovate and solve complex problems, Mancini said in a statement to CNBC. To support this, some teams have asked remote employees that live near an office to return to in-person work 3 days a week. According to one recent notice, employees in Google technical services were told that they're required to switch to a hybrid office schedule or take a voluntary exit package. Remote employees in the unit are being offered a one-time paid relocation expense to move within 50 miles of an office. So question, if you worked for Google and you bought the house in the middle of nowhere and Google offered you to do a one-time relocation package to move within 50 miles of the office, would you do it? Would you do it? Right? Remote employees in human resources, or what Google calls people operations, who live within 50 miles of an office must choose to work in person on a hybrid basis by the end of their role within or their role will be eliminated, according to an internal memo. How does CNBC get all these internal? It's called internal for a reason, right? Mancini said they have to return by June. Staffers in that unit who are approved for remote work and live within 50 miles away from an office can keep their current arrangements, but will have to go hybrid if they want new roles at the company. So if you want to grow at Google, you're going to have to move to be closer. Google previously offered a voluntary exit program to US-based full-time employees in people operations starting in March, according to a memo sent by HR Chief Fiona Sissoni in February. That package that came after the company said in January that it would be offering a voluntary exit packages to full-time employees in the US in platforms and device groups, which includes Android, Chrome, and products like Fitbit and Nest. I didn't remember that Google had bought Fitbit. I mean, Google is fighting those lawsuits as well with Chrome, with Android, so it might be, I don't know. It says the unit has made cuts to nearly 24 teams as of this month. While internal correspondence indicated that remote workers was a factor in the layoffs, Mancini said it was not the main consideration for the changes. A year ago, Google combined its Android unit with its hardware group under the leadership of Rick Osterlaw, a senior vice president. Osterlaw said in January that the voluntary exit plan may be a fit for employees who struggle with hybrid work schedules. Mancini told CNBC that since the groups merged, the team has focused on becoming more nimble and operating more effectively, and this included making some job reductions in addition to the voluntary exit program. So they laid some people off, right? She added that the unit continues to hire in the US and globally. All right, so that is that story with Google. So here's my question to you. Here's my question. You can feel free to answer it. If you're watching this on replay, answer it in the comments. If you're watching it live, answer it in the chat. Would you so here are your options. Would you take the buyout from Google if they're requiring you to move 50 miles within? Would you take the relocation money to move within 50 miles of the office for Google, or are you going to continue living in the middle of nowhere and say, you know what, I'm going to take the voluntary buyout. I'm going to still live in the middle of nowhere, and hopefully, hope springs eternal, right? Hopefully you are able to find another remote job while living in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to be honest with you, right? I'm going to be honest. There are no more remote jobs like that are hiring like that. All right. Anyways, let's get back to the chat, and then we will get to our next working segment. All right. Let me see. Junior says, why did people think they would never have to go back into the office again? Just work from home forever? I will tell you why, Junior. Number one, people only see what's going to benefit them. So for them, they're like, work from home. It's so beneficial to me. people do not think about their employer whatsoever. It's only me, right? But the other reason is, if you think about it from an employer standpoint, right? You don't have to pay the rent. You don't need to have this big place. But on the other side of it, though, there's a few other things. If you do not have this expensive building, then you don't get the tax write-offs as a company. If you don't have people coming into the office, you don't stimulate the economy that is around the office, and now everyone else suffers. So while Google might be making a lot of money, the places around the office, they also depend on Google and their employees being there to shop there. So I'll give you an example. The company that I work for, they're in like a small city, but they're in the downtown of that small city, and a lot of the coffee shops, the bars, the restaurants, things like that, the company that I work for, we play a major role. And that's why we also we get a lot of good deals from those companies, because we play a major role when people are coming in to visit the office from remote, when people who go into the office regularly, they stimulate the coffee shops, the ice cream shops, the beer, the beer place, the bars. After work, people go there. Before work, people don't get a beer before work, but they'll go get some coffee, they'll get some hot chocolate, all these different type of things. They stimulate the economy around there. So that's why, and those companies are dependent on those major companies. So it's, there's tax reasons. There's so many different things that play into why these companies want, and plus they want to tap down on people taking advantage, right? So there's so many different factors that play. Let's see. All right, we just read that one. David said the commute here in Atlanta is diabolical. If you notice, the article mentioned some employees must return to office. Do you think this will affect the top performers or those that have a highly desired skill set? So I'll put it like this. What companies will do at times is pass companies or teams, they'll pass a broad blanket policy. And then based on the individual employees, they might do exceptions. So they'll make the rule, but then they'll have exceptions to the rule. I think it depends on how valuable that top performer is, or that skill set is. It really depends, but I think that they'll pass the policy, and then they'll let individual managers and teams make the final decision for those employees. It really depends at the end of the day. But that is a great question that you ask, and I've heard about that Atlanta traffic. I heard, and David says yes, 1,000. I would relocate and continue to level up. I'm telling you, this guy David, he is a winner through and through. So shout out to David. And I'll tell you this story right quick. One of my close friends, I used to work with him. I hung out with him and his family and stuff like that. This is a story, right? So I'll start off with this. When he started working at the company that I was working for, they brought him on as a contractor, and he was getting a lot of money as a contractor. And then he had a very, very unique skill set, a lot of Salesforce skills and stuff like that. Then once his contract went out, they wanted to hire him. So they hired him, but they lowballed his offer like crazy. And if I was him, I would have been like, nope.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
But he really, really wanted to work for the company. So he took a lower offer, right? Fast forward a year or so, the company totally closes down. Everyone is technically laid off. He got a job where in another state, right? And it had to be in office. So they said, all right, we're going to pay for your relocation. He got the relocation money, and he moved for way less than the relocation money that they gave him. So he was able to save that, and then used that money to put a down payment on a house, and he, like, through all the benefits, he's making like 3 times the amount, maybe more than that, more than 3 times the amount of money that he was making working at the company that we're working at together. So he was a true winner through and through.
Ain't believing us.
I'm telling you.
We the best.
So, as David said, 1,000%, I would relocate and continue to level up. If there is nothing holding you down, like that, you know, because sometimes we have family and stuff like that we can't just up in our lives and move. Like, if you know, sometimes you can't do it. But if you are able to do it, and the company is offering you to give you whatever it takes to level up, then you go for it. All right. And David hit us with the fire and the trophy. All right. Let's get into our very, very last segment of work before we wrap it up for today. We've done some amazing work. I was not expecting to have to go down this route, but hey, you know how we do here. We are exploring, we are learning, and that is the sole purpose. Right? So let's get to our last segment.
It's time to do.
All right. So here we are. Session timed out. All right, let's get back into it. I'm going to connect again. And I'm going to do ls to see what we have in here. And I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do .run _ celery, right? And it's saying waiting for database to be ready. So we know what that means. So it can't connect to the database, right? So I'm going to stop that. And this is a game changer for me, because it is not able to connect to the database. So using this command, all right, so it's saying that it doesn't exist. What I want to do is, what database? So my question is, what database is it connecting to? Maybe I'll do let me clear this out. PSQL. Let's see. So we are connected to a database, apparently. We are connected to a database. Let's see, Postgres, list databases. Let me see, Postgres. I am not a Postgres user as well, so let's see. How do I list databases? Let's see what this does. Nothing. Okay, fine. Let's see. Okay, so what we have here is we have, so it is able to connect to the database. We have the Indico database. We have the Postgres, Indico. We have template 0. Huh. Okay. If we were to do, so what about list tables? From the PSQL, choose your database. Oops, Q. Okay. And if we do /c indico, you are now connected to the Indico database as user Indico. Okay. And then /dt. Did not find any relation. Okay. What if we do /c Postgres? And we do /dt. Did not find any relation here either. Okay. What about if we do name Postgres owner Indigo template 0. Interesting. So, all right, let's do this. Let's exit. Let's do this. So now let's connect to, oh wait, I connect to Indigo Web. I connected to Indigo Web. I wanted to connect to Celery. Okay, so Indigo Web connected. Let's connect to Celery. That's the one I wanted to connect to. And if we were to do, where's the command I want to do? This command here. No such file. Is it running? So if we do PSQL. All right, so on this server, it is not able to connect to it. So on the Indigo Web, it is able to connect to it. On this one, it's not. Huh. Why? Why is Celery? So let's see, ls. Run celery.sh. Inside of this run celery.sh, what about if we were actually to run Indigo? What if I was to put this code in here? And WQ and I was to say, I mean, I could just do this command right here, but it told me that there was nothing there. It's like, let me see. It's saying that there's no connection. Let's do this over here. Celery. I don't even know what celery is. What is celery? What is celery? I don't even know what celery is, to be honest with you. What is celery software? Celery is a distributed task queue, meaning it handles long-running or time-consuming tasks in the background. Oh, all right. So, celery not able to connect to PSQL server. The problem is celery cannot connect to the Postgres. And here's what I'm doing here, right? I'm using just the general issue that celery had, like someone had it with celery, although running in a different software, to see why, and maybe I can do something about that. And they're having a very similar issue, so that's totally fair. Let's see. That's very similar to what we have set up. Celery broker URL, which I think we changed that anyways. I don't. I wonder if ping is installed first. But, maybe it'll be a telnet. Let me see. Telnet, is that installed? Nope. Ping, is that installed? Nope. Let me see. Trying to think why it can't connect to the. So I'm trying to see why it can't connect to that Postgres. Ensure that all required environment variables, DB name, user, password are defined and are composed for celery. Celery broker URL, Postgres DB username and password. All right, so let's see. Connect to Postgres DB command line. Let's see. Connecting to Postgres server. Oh, all right. So let's try this. So if we go back to here. So let's try this first. Let me make this smaller so I can see. So we do psql-h hostname 0.0.0.0. P for port is going to be, what is the port number? Port number for Postgres is 5432. 5432. Database that we want to connect to is going to be Indigo. Username is Indigo, I believe. Let's go. What? Where's my? Okay, so now if we say we're connected, so if we were to take let me see, exit. If we were to do, so error, no such, okay, so running that, or there's not a PG database to look for. Is there? Let me see. Echo PG database. It's not that anyways. So first thing we'll do is, instead of PG database, what should be PG database? It should be Indigo. So that can't connect. However, PSQL. So if we were to copy this and that's just the connection though. That's just the connection. So let's say celery connect to database. Celery connect to database command line. Oh, connect to Postgres command line. Let's see. Celery results backend. Let me see, clear that out. So I don't need, well, do I? Let me see. I kind of do. I kind of do need it, but PSQL LQT. So what is PSQL LQT? L. Let's see. H localhost. Can I just add a -H for that? Oh, let me see if I can just do a -H. Dash, let me see, I. Let's see, -H for, oh, let me, all right, let's try this. Let's delete all this. Because if I could do check if it's ready by, watch this. Let's say we do -H for 0.0.0.0 -P for 5, 4,
Lunch break.
3, 2,
Lunch break.
and basically what we did before. Let's try that. WQ dot run celery server raw root does not exist. Okay, fine. So we can do similar to what we did before. Look at that. Look at that. We are so much closer. All right. So, we can do, let's say we copy all of that and we go back to edit this and we say so we're passing in the database, the user, all that. Run celery. We are connecting. We are connecting now. So it's saying waiting for the database to be ready. It doesn't find these, it doesn't find this in particular, but we are connecting to the database. All right, so perfect. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this right here. I am going to add this right here to my run celery right here. Let's do -H 0.0.0.0 -P 5432. I'm also going to do the same thing to my run indigo. -U or -D for indigo. -U for indigo. Make sure I did all that for the other one too. Okay. So let's see if I copy this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, let's say we leave Q. And let's exit this all together, and let's do another. Let's go back to the Indigo web. And we're going to do ls, and we're going to say vim run indigo. And we're going to go down over here. What do I have copied? We said the whole thing. Just copy. Just copy that. And we go I. WQ. Let's do dot run indigo. So it's able to connect. Indigo command not found. What are you talking about? Oh, indigo command not found. Oh, okay. So now we're connecting to the database, saying the select not found. So if we go back to this, and we're gonna wrap it up soon. Just, we have like a few minutes extra, so just probably bring it to a close with like 5 minutes. All right, so check whether the database is already set up. Command not found. If not, preparing database, create extensions. If not, is this the command that's not found? So we're connected to the database, and then echo waiting for database becoming available. Once that was done, it tries to select the count from event.events. If it's not able to do that, then it's going to say preparing database, create extension if not exists, running indigo db prepare, indigo db prepare. What the hell does that mean? Should that work? So bash indigo command not found. What the heck is indigo db prepare? Let me see what we have here. Indigo db prepare. What does that mean? Is it doing it from, all right, let me see so let me try this. PSQL. That makes sense that the command isn't found for indigo. So I think what it's trying to do though is say connect to the database, but it's not connecting to the database. What if the database name is just indigo? Nope. So what if we do this right here? And now we do db prepare. Oh, wait, spelled it wrong. DB prepare. I don't know what that's doing. does that do? Running Indigo DB prepare. Let's see what that means. Let's see. You can run Indigo DB prepare to initialize your Indigo database. How? Pip install -u Indigo. If you install the official plugins. Oh. So what if sorry, are you telling me, hold on, let's see this. I don't believe this, but let's see. Exit, clear, pip install Indigo. What the heck? Why wasn't that installed before? Why was that not installed before? Something is really, really weird. Because I would think that this would have been already installed on the container. But if it's not, there's something we can do about that. Or maybe it's installed in the... Maybe, because it should already be on. It should already be on the container, right? How's the event? It's Indigo DB prepare. Something's happening. Huh. Could not load some plugins, yada, yada, yada. I see a bunch of errors. Connection refused. Huh. SMTP stuff. Plugin stuff. Let's do this run. Huh. UWSGI command not found. Let's see. This is why? I don't understand why I have to go back and add all this stuff over again. Something is so... I think something is missing. I have to investigate that because I would expect all of this to be already installed on the container. Let me see something real quick. Docker file. So they have all of this happening here. Did I not have it on the user Python virtual environment? Install this, install that. Indigo virtual environment. Create symlinks. Copy these files over. Maybe I'll have to use my image. But I would have expected get indigo. Docker Hub. You know what? You know what? That might actually be the problem. The one that they have here, they're not, I don't see them installing Indigo on there. Very strange that they wouldn't. What I'll do is I'll update it to, and they're using Python too. Okay. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'll fill you guys in next time. But I'm gonna update this to the one that I pushed up in my image and try to start it that way, because it looks like this image that they're using here is outdated or something. I don't know. Very strange.
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
I don't see where they're installing. Yeah, that might be it right there. That might be it. That might be why it's not working, because they said it was supposed to be the same Docker file, but it doesn't look like the same Docker file, because this Docker file is actually doing a bunch of other stuff. All right. Well, that is good to know. That is good to know. Well, that is about it, I guess. Let's try to run this one last time. Okay. Okay. Well, I think we made a lot, like, oh my God. So let's go to folks. Let's wrap it up for today. The game changer for today was being able to connect to these Docker containers, or to the task containers directly. And by being able to do that, we're able to investigate and troubleshoot them to see all the things that we thought were, but were not, and go from there. So really, really cool. I'm very, very happy that we did this today, because this opened my eyes to a lot of possibilities. And honestly, what I think I need to do, I just need to change the image for the Indigo web from the one that's on Docker Hub to the one that I uploaded on Docker Hub, and see if it starts up that way. So that's what I'm going to do next. Once I get out of here, I will report back next time, probably on Thursday. I'll let you know what happened, but I don't think we're going to be doing this on Thursday, because I should have it figured out by then, but I will let you know what happens. And we should be able to get back to our ethical hacking. I think we left off with the port scanner, see what else we could do to it. But yeah, so final thoughts for today. Up next, we have our candid conversation tomorrow at noon. I'm going to be talking about layoffs and companies like Google that we're talking about who might have overhired in the past, especially during the pandemic, and how they decided to, how they address that, and just my thoughts on the whole layoff thing. Should companies have overhired? All that good stuff. Let's see. And we have large language models in the morning. We're going to continue with that bot thing to wrap up week 1. And that'll be it. All right. Yeah, that's about it. Do me a big favor on your way out. As it says right here, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content, as well. TechCoachDrive.dev. Sign up today for exclusive content. You get to that's my Patreon. You get to interact with me. I answer every message that is sent to me in the Patreon. If you want to work with me one-on-one, we can make that a possibility. I'm not openly taking new people, but after I have a conversation with you, if I feel that you are a good candidate to work with me one-on-one, if you are serious running it up, learning DevOps, learning software engineering, learning anything in this whole tech space, then I'm more than happy to work with you, but you got to show that you are committed to it. Also have access to the Tech Coach Drive Patreon, or the Tech Coach Drive Discord, where we're going to be doing a lot of activities in there as well. All right. That is it for today. Let me say goodbye to everyone before we wrap it up. Junior, thank you so much. I appreciate all of your support. Shout out to David as well. And shout out to David and his amazing $10 super chat. I really appreciate you, David, and so happy to finally be connected with you. And I am rooting for you on this channel. And do me a favor, every time you hit another milestone, you make another accomplishment, please come back and let me know, and we will definitely celebrate you on this channel, because that's what I do here. For all the people who are winning, I love to have a celebration for you guys, all right?
I appreciate you.
Thank you to Roxy for being here, to Wave Nerd, to everybody who is watching from the shadows and the clouds as well. Shout out to all of you guys. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday and an even better week. Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
They say I don't live in reality, and dreams I float like a stream. They say I need to grow up, who cares? Life's a wild, crazy thing. Sorry for thinking you can be successful. Magic in the air we breathe. I believe too much in you, girl, more than the things they preach. They say I don't see their ways, never colored inside their lines. But I'm dancing on the edge to my own rhythm, feeling fine. Not everyone is not me, and that's my favorite part. We are wild, untamed, and free, with fire inside our hearts. Whispering tales of dreams on a road less traveled by. Our footsteps light as feathers in the glowing sunset sky. Sorry for thinking you can be successful. Magic in the air we breathe. I believe too much in you, girl, more than the things they preach. I don't see their ways, never colored inside their lines. But I'm dancing on the edge to my own rhythm, fees they preach. They say I don't see their ways, never colored inside their lines. But I'm dancing on the edge to my own rhythm, feelings they preach. Not everyone is not me, and that's my favorite part. We are wild, untamed, and free, with fire inside our hearts. Whispering tales of dreams on a road less traveled by. Our footsteps light as feathers in the glowing sunset sky. Not everyone is not me, and that's my favorite part. We are wild, untamed, and free, with fire inside our hearts. Whispering tales of dreams on a road less traveled by. Our footsteps light as feathers in the glowing sunset sky. Whispering tales of dreams on a road less traveled by. Our footsteps light as feathers in the glowing sunset sky. Not everyone is not me.
They said I wouldn't make it, they laughed at my dream. Every move I made felt like swimming upstream. But yesterday I met a fan, eyes full of belief. In their gaze I saw the end to my grief.
Doubt didn't win, trust began. Looked in the mirror, saw my biggest fan. Heart beats like a drum, fight through the span. Kept on pushing, now I'm the man.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I saw myself alive. I put in all the hours, climbed out from the dirt. They dissed and dismissed, said I'd always get hurt. Met a fan so loyal, reflections don't lie. My biggest supporter is just me in my mind.
Through the noise and shadows I held my ground. Bumps, bruises, broken, no comfort found. But that fan's smile turned my world around. Now I'm rising sky high above the sound.
Doubt didn't win and trust I began. When I looked in the mirror, saw my biggest fan. Heart beats like a drum, fight through the span. Kept on pushing, now I'm the man.
From the ashes I flew, they can't dim my flame. Every mocking voice only fed my aim. Yesterday showed me it's not just a game. Cause in my reflection I found my name.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I'm the man.
From the ashes I flew, they can't dim my flame. Every mocking voice only fed my aim. Yesterday showed me it's not just a game. Cause in my reflection I found my name.
Folks called it trash, said I'd never thrive. Every word I spat, cut deep like a knife. Thought my wings were clipped, stuck in a dive. But mirrors don't lie, I'm the man.